It's only day 5 since Mark Carney called for an election, and Pierre Poilievre's campaign is falling apart. And his hypocrisy, ineptitude, and complete lack of a plan is becoming very, very obvious. Let's start with this one here. Pierre Poilievre has been complaining about migrants and refugees crossing the border and illegals, and it turns out his own family members are some of them. He's complained about them a whole bunch. He's promised conservatives would track him down and deport him, except it turns out his uncle-in-law is a refugee, an illegal in Canada. And after he crossed into Canada illegally, tried to claim refugee status, an undisclosed MP's office tried to help him get permanent residency. You think that's probably Pierre? And when he failed, he has remained living in Canada undocumented with a deportation order out in his name. Now, personally, I don't have a big problem with illegals or refugees. I think Canada should welcome refugees. But when Pierre Poilievre is making this a central part of his campaign, and then it turns out he's helping family members come here illegally, it makes him a big old fucking hypocrite. Next, we have this one. He was out there today saying he promises to maintain dental care and child care programs, that he absolutely won't cut them. Although, careful of the headlines because he did not actually specify he would keep pharmacare. And you might think, great, that's good news, except he's probably lying because this is complete opposite of anything he's ever done before. As the awesome Mr. Charlie Angus pointed out, when Pierre Poilievre was talking to Jordan Peterson on his podcast, he said he would fiercely resist the NDP's socialist policies and he would never do dental care. And in fact, he voted against dental care and pharmacare and childcare and all of these other things. And then we have this one. When Mark Carney said that they would drop the marginal tax rate for the middle class by 1%, which would cost the government $6 billion in revenue, Pierre Poilievre was like, I'll one up you. I'll give everyone a 2% tax cut, which would cost $12 billion. And again, you might think, oh, great, I'll take a 2% tax cut. But I want to make a few things clear. That old Pierre here has also promised dollar for dollar cuts. So every single dollar they cut, they will cut a dollar of spending. And he promised that they would balance the federal budget. Now, just our deficit is $48 billion a year right now. So he's going to give $12 billion in tax cuts, making that $60 billion in the hole. Then he's promised to buy a whole bunch of new military equipment, which we do need, which is going to make us even more in the hole. So what is he going to cut to pay for all of this? Because he promised, every extra dollar of spending is going to be a dollar cut. So the math ain't mathin'. He can't actually fulfill all of these promises because some of them directly contradict other promises that he made. It's kind of almost like he's just saying whatever he thinks is popular and people want to hear to give him a shot because he doesn't have a stance. And you know what? When Pierre Poilievre has voted against all of those things and promised to cut more of those things, I'm going to believe that more than I'm going to believe a sudden about-face saying he'll save a program just so he can get elected. How about you guys?